Andrew, where are we at the moment?
We're in Mongolia. During my 40 years of overlanding, I can count over 70 overland expeditions to remote places on 5 continents, mainly in southern Africa, North America and Australia. I've done so much overlanding that in truth surprises are rare. But in September 2024, I was more than just surprised. I have found a destination that equals anywhere that I have ever travelled in before. And it turns out that anyone can go overlanding there. I welcome you to Mongolia and its capital, Ulaanbaatar, where our guides and vehicles await to take us on a 10-day mission to explore the Gobi Desert. We are in the hands of Miles Overland that offer guided self-drive tours all over this vast country. It's happening. It's finally. Hey? It's finally happening. We've got 4Runners. I've never driven a 4Runner before. I've driven a lot of Toyota 4-wheel drives, never a 4Runner. So that's one thing to look forward to. And I just got to set out all my cameras and try and simulate what I do with my rigs when I'm on a trip, is have all my cameras and accessories easily accessible. So if I see something interesting, it's a real easy job for me to just grab a camera and capture the moment. So that's what I'm doing now. This is the tracker we use. I put this on the dashboard. I'm actually going to get it going now. It drops a pin, sends a little signal up to a satellite. The satellite records the location. Satellite then sends it back down to my website so you can see live exactly where we are. So I'm going to get that thing going. I see the battery is not doing well even though I charged it. Settings. Okay.
Okay, good morning, Andrew. This is for you.
Thank you.
Miles Overland, our company logo. You can use it. This is t-shirt with our logo and you can use it. It's a gift.
Wonderful. There you go.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Right. Hey, patches, check it out. But first, a breakfast in the hotel diner, then a walk through the city. Why has Mongolia been on my bucket list for 20 years? Okay, this is what I know about it. There are vast open spaces of remote ground. It's unfenced. The landscapes are bonkers. And the freedom to travel off-road, or off main road, away from tourists, especially away from tour buses, and see something absolutely spectacular. That's what we have in front of us. That's why it's been on my list. Genghis Khan is venerated here in Mongolia. Many things, including the international airport, are named in his honour. And an Irish pub. Donli Min.
It's correct.
My first word in Mongolian. It means good morning.
So now we are going to the main square. The name is Genghis Khan Square, and sometimes people using the other old names like Sukhbatar Square. Okay. It's like only 5 minutes walk away from here.
Okay.
It's very close.
But I do think it's time for you to meet our guides.
Tozka. T-U-A-G-A. Tozka.
Tonga.
Yeah.
We'll call you Mogi.
Миний нэрийг Инхма гэдэг. Инхма. Can you repeat, please?
Inkma.
Yes. Thank you.
But we're gonna call you Emma.
Yes, correct. It's easier to pronounce it, my name.
architecture, apart from the Soviet architecture, reminds me of Greek, Roman, mixed with the architecture of the houses in Oman. So at the end of the day, you get this amazing wedding cake effect of the old architecture, and it's painted in the most glorious colors.
And after a lovely walk around town and a meal, we are ready to see the countryside, the vast, empty countryside of Mongolia. The car that we're driving is a US spec 6-cylinder 4Runner. After battling through the city traffic within an hour or so, it feels like we are in the wilderness.
You're on the steppes of Mongolia. The wind blows incessantly, and Andrew's worried about the wind in the microphone. So I'm just putting a caveat out there for this entire series. We are on the steppes of Mongolia, and the wind does blow. So if you hear a wind sound, it's part of the natural ambience of this magnificent place. Yes.
We have spent the afternoon on the asphalt. It is in not very good condition. There are a few lines on the road, and the local drivers they drive in a very purposeful fashion. We are maintaining the speed limit, which is 80 kilometers an hour, for which I'm actually quite grateful, because I feel safe at this speed. We're about to leave the asphalt and head on an off-road track through these steps. The first thing I noticed, within an hour of leaving the capital city, not a fence anywhere. And we're going to meet on our trip the nomadic people that live out here. A high percentage of the population of Mongolia live nomadic lives. And we're going to visit some of them, and tonight camp in a nomadic campsite. They're called Gur camps, and I have no idea what to expect. Well, good morning. We have woken from our first night in a Gur camp. And a Gur camp, well, these are unique. And this is how we slept last night. Very basic, very rustic, but rustic in a sense that they're not rustic because rustic is cool. They're rustic because they are temporary. The people of Mongolia live in dwellings just like this. This can be folded up and packed on the back of camels and moved, which apparently they do 4 times a year. But this is a tourist version of a Gur camp.
It's so warm in here. In our gorgeous little Gur tent.
I was going to say she's so pleased that I might even get lucky tonight, but I'm actually so knackered that the timing is terrible. So, sorry, darling.
It is. It's quite romantic.
It is. It is. This is so down her little street. You won't. And of course, woken this morning to this beautiful sunrise. The wind is blowing. I think that's why there are absolutely no trees at all. This should be called the nullable. I wonder what the nullable translation in Mongolian is. Because here there are really no trees. I mean, nullable, there are trees. There are areas where there are no trees. We haven't seen a tree for the last 3 hours of driving. We did not see a single tree. So it's competition today to see who sees the first tree. Like it was when I was a kid, when we would head to the seaside and you'd get a penny if you're the first one to see the sea. So what do you reckon? How did you sleep?
Oh, I died.
Hey?
I died.
I died. Bed's quite hard.
Yep.
A little harder than we're used to.
But I could do this nomadic thing, no problem. Just don't ask me to move every 3 months.
I mean, it is a tent. It's a temporary thing. It's very warm in here. It was extremely warm. It's quite cold outside. It's probably 5, 6, 7 degrees outside. And it's warm as toast in here, even though the wind blows.
Can you imagine dismantling? I was looking at it this morning, dismantling all of this and
the walls,
moving it.
concertina, everything rolls up. The floor is like a melamine thing, but my question was that the floor, obviously this is a more permanent structure because this floor is a concrete slab.
Yes.
So this camp is more, but the actual structure is the same they use, the nomadic people use, and have to dismantle 4 times a year, they say. That's fantastic. It's absolutely wonderful. Most Gur camp layouts included a separate ablution block and a central meeting area, kitchen and restaurant.
I'm rolling.
Are you filming me or am I filming you?
I'm filming you, filming me having breakfast at the Gur camp.
But I can't see your face, so you're talking to camera.
Does that better? Not that you really want to see my face, but there we go. So should we all have a look at what we're eating for breakfast at the Gur camp? Well, this is what Gwyn's eating.
You have to eat all of it, eh? All of it. Sign on the table saying.
Ryan included.
I don't know.
I am about to sample a traditional Mongolian drink. It's fermented horse milk. Now, if you could see Andrew's face from behind the camera, because long-time viewers know he has a pathological hatred for yogurt. So this is quite a close cousin. And apparently if I was to drink all of this, I would probably get drunk. So I'm not going to drink all of it, but I'm going to cheers. Oh, I can see why you could get drunk. Okay? It's actually delicious. It is. It's refreshing.
It's very good, and it's very healthy for your
I bet.
stomach.
White stupor.
Yep.
So, sagan is the Mongolian word for white. So I don't know if it's the fermented horse milk talking, but allow us to introduce you to Andrew St Pierre Sagan.
This is going to be a good trip.
Mogi's doing a Paul Marsh. It's good to know there's another one of them on the planet. The planet needs more these kind of people.
It's so silly. A quick disclaimer. About 5 months ago, Miles Overland contacted me and said, would you like to come and visit Mongolia? Being at the top of my bucket list, it was immediately, wow, is that even possible? We then had a short discussion, and it concluded with they would assist us in paying for our airfare. None of the videos that you are seeing now or will see in the future about this trip, they don't control any of the content in any way whatsoever. So while this is a promotion for Miles Overland, it's not a paid promotion for Miles Overland, if you understand the difference. There are a lot of insects in Mongolia. I mean, a lot. I'm doing a Paul Marsh. And I travel with him. And he's been to Mongolia more than once. And when I told him that we were going to Mongolia, he was just so jealous. The camp staff are helping us bring our bags out to the car as we set off on day 2. Day 2.
Of our adventure. And it is such an adventurous adventure.
It's a very adventurous adventure. When it comes to adventure, this is an adventurous adventure.
Indeed. So we're going to White Stupa today. Supa, I think it's called.
You are in charge of getting the pronunciations right. So Please get it right.
Ha, that's a challenge. Because my Mongolian is...
It's a difficult language to catch, to
it's
hook.
difficult. Yes. Stupa, white stupa.
Right.
Picturesque rock formation located in Gobi.
So today we enter the Gobi Desert. Back into high 4, clunk. It's actually quite satisfying crack of the transmission as it goes from 4 low to high.
You boys are always asking, why doesn't Gwyn drive? Why doesn't Gwyn drive? Well, the answer is simple. We weren't in Mongolia. How can I come to Mongolia and not drive? Oh, they're horses.
Beautiful shot with horses next to the mountain. With all the mountains, it's a granite. The stone is granite.
While there are wild horses in Mongolia, these are domestic, used by nomadic families to make leather goods, as we've discovered, milk and meat.
You can smell the wood smoke at the gers.
And they are watered by the many natural springs peppered across the landscape. This water is used by the people for their cattle and for their own consumption. We are approaching the capital city. It's not a city, but it is the capital of this province of Mongolia. I think she said there were 9 provinces in the country, and this is the capital city.
I think she actually said 21. I'm not sure if it's 9 or 21.
Well, it's either 9 or 21, but it could be 12.
Well,
We're not very good at this,
Let's
Gwyn.
pick a number.
We're not very good at this. There are a lot and this is the capital.
So let's show you what it looks like. The name of the town is Mandal Govi. So Emma was telling us that the capital city, this city in this part of the Gobi, it's mainly in winter that a lot of the nomads come into the city, and they spend their time in the city, although she says a lot of them stay in the mountains, and during winter, cold. She says they stay at the rivers and the lakes. I would imagine the rivers and the lakes are pretty frozen.
-50 is typical. Right, drive on the right, drive on the right, drive on the right. I almost drove on the left again. Gotta mentally, like you go into low range or 4-wheel drive, it's like drive on the right. Don't forget to do that. It's important.
The left side, the yellow and the white one, is the hospital. The right side is a kindergarten for kids. The population of this province is like totally 47 or 50,000.
This is our chance to sample a traditional Mongolian meal.
I don't know how to explain it. It's a very popular salad in Mongolia. Potato,
Like potato.
Russian salad.
Russian salad. We call like a nislil. Nislil means capital.
Ever helpful, Emma described what she called a capital salad made with cabbage and potato. The salad accompanied deep-fried chicken and another thing that I, quite frankly, can't remember.
And this, I have been told, is China's equivalent to Coca-Cola. Chinese Coca-Cola. Full marks on the... Very good. Very good sound effect. Excellent. Colour. Bit pale. Taste. It's not even slightly like Coca-Cola. It tastes like strawberry kids drink. I don't know what you would call it. This then is a vehicle that interests me greatly. It's a proper four-wheel drive van built in Russia. The WAZ 452, and they seem to be the workhorses of the Gobi Desert.
One of the most interesting things about being in a country like Mongolia is that you're a complete illiterate. It's like you never learned to read. Everything, all the road signs, everything, buildings, shops, it's all in Mongolian, Cyrillic. And they could be selling you blocks of coal or trips to the moon, and you just wouldn't know. So makes it adds a layer of interesting challenge.
We're now back. We've left the asphalt after having a lovely lunch and are now heading towards our camp again on crossing these endless grassy plains. And something occurred to me. I don't know if you've been noticing, what is the most common car that we've been seeing on these off-road tracks that we've been travelling on for hours today? Most common car?
Toyota Prius.
No kidding. Toyota Prius. I reckon on these tracks, we've encountered 15 cars, 20 cars. How many have not been Priuses? I saw a Jeep.
Yeah. Mainly Priuses.
The only one I can remember is there was a dark grey Jeep. And look at that.
Do you want to take a shot with camels? If you want it, we can stop it.
We have to get some shots.
Stop here. If you want.
Yeah, I think we need to get some shots of camels.
That shot. Like the horses, these camels are domestic creatures, not wild. Okay. Not National Geographic,
Thank you.
but
All done. Finished.
it's been quite a tough day. Over 400 kilometres off-road. And I, for one, am glad to see the signs of a meal and bed.
That's so exciting. Anything with the word caravanserai in the title is just got to be fantastic.
You really are a little gypsy at heart, aren't you, little Poopsie?
I'm afraid so. Isn't it fantastic? I think it's fantastic. I don't even know what it's like inside, but it's fantastic.
This is yours.
Down here.
I really think you guys should have some chairs out here. These are unbelievable. They're just like every little one is. Let's open one. Every little one is like a cappuccino. I'm busy. Fine. We are approaching the southernmost large town of Dalanzadgad.
So, 한국 хүдэг баатрын удам урган бусын даган талцсан шувууны сэтгэртэй гурван сайхан уур элэн цолонцын үлгий говь тандын зээл эрдний ногоон хуягтай эрэмгий дайчин.
Amazing.
Imposing, aren't they?
Absolutely stunning. I wish I could read Cyrillic. And and spoke Mongolian, that would help too.
It means that every mountain has their spiritual queens.
Okay.
So it's a legend of the 3 different kind of queens. So it's beautiful.
And these are the queens.
Represents the 3 mountains.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
I've been struggling with the idea that I'm in Mongolia. I'm actually in Mongolia, and the reason why I've been struggling with this is that it's been a dream for so long to come here. And you know, they say you never meet your heroes. Hey, that is not always apt. It's fascinating. It's brilliant. I'm so pleased I can tick this off my bucket list. So pleased I managed to do this. I feel very lucky, I do.
Andrew, where are we at the moment?
We're in Mongolia.
Mongolia.
Huh?
Sure about that?
I'm very sure about that. Why are you asking?
Why did your label say that you're in New Zealand?
Oh, you mean I can pronounce New Zealand. I can't pronounce the name of the place we're at now. I'm really struggling to get my head around this language. It's I can't even read it because it's not in English.
Thank you.
This was one of the best cups of camp coffee I think I've ever had. What was he doing with that burner? I've got to find out. In addition to the horses and camels, people keep large herds of goats and sheep. Our third night. Tonight we'll be at another Go camp, and it's over there. This one is hyper luxury. It's called the Gobi Mirage. Not to be confused with the Mirage in Las Vegas, America's toilet. Today has been actually the best day so far. Wow.
Hey?
This is on another level. We've reached camp in the middle of the afternoon. Time to relax and take in this amazing place. Having driven for 2 days across the steppes of south-central Mongolia, we wake at Gobi Mirage Lodge, a luxury ger camp that Gun has managed to make all messy. Not putting what on the internet?
You are not putting this room at current... No, I'm
It
not...
looks like a skip. Your side looks like a skip, and look at mine. Nice and neat and tidy.
Anal.
Even though I've got camera equipment.
Anal.
Sorting out stuff here, all nice and tidy.
Anal.
No, not anal. Normal.
Anal.
Normal. Learn the difference. and this is day 4 of our 10-day trek across the Gobi Desert. Our guide has told us today that we are entering mountainous areas where we will get to ride some horses, some camels if we really want to, and more of this amazing overlanding destination. So I welcome you to part 2 of this adventure.
He's a pain in the backside, isn't he? And I've put up with this for over 30 years. Never mind 40 years of overlanding. There's another story that runs parallel to that. And there's the bill.
Also, in Spanish, like a beer.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
And let's go around. What have we got there? That's the lynx.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? Aries is over there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's Saturn.
2 goats and 1 camel. And you should find.
Okay, so 1 sheep.
Mm-hmm.
Blow for luck.
Before we head out today, it's time to see if our good fortune will hold out.
3 goats.
Explain what you've just done. You've thrown the bones and it's telling you your future, is that right?
Mongolian national guessing game. Okay, so these bones represent different animals as I understand it, depending on how you look at the bone. So I'm going to try that again. So I've got 2 goats, and are those horses?
Camel.
Is that a camel? And that?
Sheep.
Sheep. So I've got 2 goats, a camel and a sheep. Right, so 2 goats, a camel and no, that's a horse. 2 goats, a camel and a sheep. It is sufficient. So the work might not be great, but it's sufficient.
3 sheep, 1 goat.
Work is good.
Always good. I'm the lucky one.
That's a...
No, keep it that way.
Yeah.
So that's a goat, a goat, a goat. He's got 4 goats. Is that correct? 4 goats.
3 goats and 1 sheep.
3 goats and 1 sheep.
This one is sheep.
Okay. 3 goats and 1 sheep. Work is not good.
This is not a good game.
You also want to be on holiday.
Or we're really not good at this.
Because you are not working, you are on holidays. That's why.
Ah, that's right.
That's right. Relax.
Yeah, difficult to do with it.
With so many interesting things to film.
Yeah. And today we will set off again to cross the endless grassy, windy plains of the steppes of Mongolia. We're actually very lucky because, it's now early September. In other parts of Mongolia it has started to snow, the first snows of autumn, winter. And by the end of this month, this entire place will be closed off because of snowfall. Just nothing but white as far as the eye can see. Closed for almost 6 months of the year until spring returns. So we got lucky. But before we leave, the traditional traveller's blessing. I'm pleased that we are driving cars because, well, if I was on a horse or donkey or camel, would they pour this milk over my head or the head of maybe the feet of the beasts of burden? Anyway, we're back in the Toyota 4Runner, much better than a horse. Day 4, quick summary, Mongolia, how I feel about it. Those of you who know me know that I like places with big sky country. Scoring 10 out of 10. And in terms of the experience, it's an extraordinary country. There are very, very few fences, very little private land. The culture, of course, is very foreign to me, which makes it extremely interesting. The thing that I love to do the most is to be on the open road, particularly when there are no people around. and particularly when it's in a wilderness area, and particularly when one can drive the whole day and see very little and then arrive at a place and be comfortable, whether it's my own camp or somebody else's camp. It's scoring 10 out of 10 out of 10. What do you think about the place we're just leaving?
Oh, I'm heartbroken to be leaving it, quite frankly. I could have stayed here for a week.
So what have we got on today? Quite a long drive, I think.
Yeah, I think so. We headed to Dunginjin Valley. That's where the rocky canyons and come together.
This is a typical secondary road in Mongolia. They are unmade. They are, in fact, tracks through the grasslands. But that doesn't stop the locals. They will drive anything over these tracks. They don't need four-wheel drive. Well, that's not altogether true. Sometimes they need four-wheel drive, but if they don't have it, they ask for some help. In this case, from our guide Muggy, who will drive it out. That's experience.
So we're going into this amazing place, and I'm going to be riding a horse. Haven't ridden a horse for 20 years, longer. And Andrew's riding a motorbike, and I don't think he's ever ridden a motorbike. He'll be able to tell you more. Have you ridden a motorbike?
I've never ridden a motorbike in my life. I've changed my mind. I'm actually going to go on the back of the horse, like Ben is. There are two things that I have a problem with as an adventure traveller. One, I will not fly in a helicopter with a piston engine. It's just too many things that have to work perfectly for something that actually should not fly. And the second one is horses. More difficult than controlling a final approach and touchdown with a tail dragger in a severe crosswind, I figure that these horses are used to idiots riding on the back of them, and therefore will put up with me, and I won't ground loop. What do you reckon?
It's a year since I've rode a horse.
I've decided that I'm going to call my horse Merlin the Conqueror. So similar, for those of you, our South African viewers, Lesotho, very, very similar. Clear water streams, horseback riding, rough, windy tracks. And I think the last time I rode a horse, I was 7. And I fell off.
Last time I rode a horse was one of my mother-in-law's horses about 20 years ago, and I fell off. Never been back on.
You know what this reminds me of, though?
What?
That Cathay Pacific seat. Merlin is doing well, conquering these steep side slopes and uneven ground.
And Stephanie, the one whose birthday was yesterday, she had a horse.
Ah, good.
That is why we are poor.
Because her daughter had a horse.
Talking about Traveller's Pals. Traveller's Pals, a long journey, long challenging journey. You'll find in different countries it means different things, of course. Pile of rocks, and you pick up a pebble and you add to it. You've completed that part of your journey.
Okay. So Andrew, this isn't just a traveller's pile.
Yes.
So Emma is going to explain to us exactly what it is.
It's for us, it's like something spiritual thing. This name called like a ovo. So if you're passing through this kind of things, you should do first 3 rounds. And every round you should throw that stone. And when you will come back, maybe it will be bigger, like a mountain. That's why people doing this. and you can wish your luck.
There is, of course, another traveller's pile, found in many airports, particularly those served by Cathay Pacific. Anal piles.
Seeing like all the wild animals are there behind the mountain.
It's not long and I'm back with my old buddy Merlin, heading back. I'm just hoping that our captain has his eye on the ball as we're coming for final approach. You know, I think I can get used to this. I mean, I guess you can get used to anything.
Alcatraz, guacamole, piles. Thank you. Thank you.
That was good fun, really good fun. It reminds me, I must make an appointment to see my proctologist. We are passing through a small village, hoping to get some petrol, but it is 10 to 7 in the evening. Doesn't seem to be anybody around. Oggy is trying to reach, there's a telephone number obviously there, he's trying to reach them, and we need fuel. We still have close to an hour's drive to our camp tonight, and it'll be dark by the time we get there.
He's home, she's home.
Shame.
Who is? Oh, dude.
We have very rudely pulled this very kind lady from watching her Mongolian wrestling championship on TV to come and serve us fuel. Had we known it was the final 2 minutes of the final and the final championship of the last match of the year, we might not have done this. Oh, I don't know how good that camera's going to do. Well, just a sit rep, guys. We thought we were at the end of the day's filming. Sun was going down, driving on the river valley, and now I'm grinding through really, really thick sand. There are lights in the distance, and it's 8:30. And what a thing to do on a Monday night. What would you say to that?
Well, it's been a very full day. We've done so much, and filming it takes so long And I think if you were a normal tourist doing this route, you would have been at the camp at like 4 o'clock.
Long before this, yeah. Long before this.
But we're filming a series for you, and this is the price you pay for art.
And being challenged by the dust of their vehicle is also because there's no wind. It's been windy the whole time, but not today. Not tonight, I should say. Not tonight. The dust is just hanging. Try and hold the camera still there, darling.
Doing my best, love.
Oh, dear.
But it's looking hopeful.
It is looking hopeful because those are the lights. We are driving towards them, and better late than never. Oh, where's the road gone? Oh, there it is. All right.
It would break my heart if we drove straight past those
It
lights.
would break my heart too. All right.
So it turns out that those lights
Not
are not the camp. So apparently we've got another 7 kilometers to go. So bye-bye. What looks like it could have been a nice camp.
We arrived at 8:30 last night into this camp. It is a combination of a Gur camp and a more traditional lodging. We've been given the more traditional lodge with our own bathroom. We had a meal last night. There are lots and lots of tourists. First time I've actually seen lots and lots of tourists since we've arrived here. But it's because there's some kind of desert race. And there's a desert race here because we have reached the sand dunes of the southern Gobi.
It's a long time since a country has just grabbed our heartstrings like this. I can see Andrew feeling about Mongolia the way he does about Makari, and you know what that's like.
I can't think of another country better suited to overlanding. Because we've done mostly flat country, a bit of mountains, a bit of the stretch of the dunes, but the other parts they were describing this morning, showing us footage of the mountainous areas to the far, far west and far north. These places are just mind-boggling in terms of just sheer contrast of landscape, but the cultures, the traditions are something that I've never seen before. So different, so new, and that to me is the flavour of overlanding. If you can combine the two, I'm mind blown. Mongolia, mind blown. Really. Gwynda's not exaggerating. And what are we going to do today? Drive in the sand dunes. This is the national park. I couldn't read the sign, so I'll put a subtitle in it or a bit of narration. Actually, I'll put narration in now. The Natiyona National Park. It now leads towards the dunes, and we're going to, well, Gwyn is going to ride on a camel because she likes camels, and she'll explain now why she likes camels.
I like camels. Actually, I've been thinking about it. I don't really like camels that much anymore. I once did. That was before I rode this one.
And I'm going to call Gwyn's camel Filter.
This is my girl. So if we were to talk about different kinds of transportation, you know, you've got a car equivalent to horse carriage. You've got a horse equivalent to a motorbike. Well, a camel is supposed to be the Cadillac. That's the ship of the desert. And they're supposed to be the most comfortable to ride. And when I was a kid, I was had these romantic notions of living a nomadic life and being able to cross the deserts of Arabia on a camel. It was one of my dreams. Didn't quite work out that way, but here I am, all these years later, riding a camel in Mongolia. You don't get more spoiled than that. Isn't that beautiful?
Mine's Overland.
About half an hour later, Gwyn came back. I think maybe she'd had enough, and having done it before, camel riding is not what you would call comfortable.
First, we visited the place with the dunes, with the high, like a top. It's 300 meters here. There we saw like a sculptures for the every year in August. The people who are living here, they are celebrating one big event, like a dunes event, and everyone comes here to participate in camel riding, and the people enjoying doing sculptures, and there's some people coming with was for the rising, like he loves, and yeah.
And they sculpt them.
Yep.
Wow.
And every year, every August, they are celebrating this kind of event here.
You did not get that on camera.
No, I didn't. What did you do? I didn't put it on camera.
Well, Yeah, well, I like water, and I wanted to see the river, and, well, yeah, there we have it.
I hope you laughed at her. Did you laugh
She didn't see. Nobody saw.
What happened?
I stepped into the soft mud.
The largest sand dunes in Mongolia can reach a height of 800 meters, and the dunes of the Sevrai Sam, South Gobi Air Mag, are called Kongoran Els. The line of dune stretches over 180 kilometers with a width of between 3 and 5 kilometers. Sweet spot on this is low 4 in these dunes. It's doing really, really well. We've spent a good part of today crossing one after the other. There's vast open grassy plains, and on the plains are scattered many kilometers apart tiny little settlements, and also tourist lodges. But the fascinating thing is that they are not linked by roads. There are no roads. There are unmade tracks, mile upon mile upon mile of unmade tracks, crossing and disappearing into the horizon. And the lodges that we spent the last 2 nights have no roads linking them. Just these unmade tracks. I've never seen that before anywhere.
One of the truly extraordinary things about Mongolia is the fact you have freedom. I've never been in a place where wild camping is so available. We've driven to places and we've just seen, a little tent parked with a vehicle and a chap, couple, few people, obviously tourists, they're not locals, just camping, doing their thing.
In the middle of nowhere.
What a pleasure.
In the middle of nowhere.
What a pleasure. As a place to come and just explore and be free and safe. never had a moment where I've thought, this feels a bit dodgy or not even slightly. And clean. I have never been in a country as clean as
Mongolia,
this.
it's incredible. There's
Just
no litter.
nothing.
There is no. I saw some. It was at the side of the. It was on the main road, and it was obviously truckers that had stopped at a little lay-by and had thrown rubbish out of the trucks.
And and I bet you they weren't Mongolian.
They're passing through.
Because the Mongolians clearly do not litter in their country. Even around, these little nomadic homesteads,
No litter.
No litter.
No litter at all. We've been in the driver's seat for about 3 hours this afternoon, heading overland to a town where we will collect some fuel. There is time for a short stop in the wildflowers that cover the hillsides. It's normal in these rural towns to phone for service when arriving at a fuel station. It doesn't take long for her to arrive, but she was watching the replay of the final 2 minutes of the final match of the season of Mongolian wrestling, and I think she wants to get back to it.
We've come to a place called Flaming Cliffs that apparently is beautiful as the sun sets. But unfortunately, we've got a whole lot of cloud cover, so I'm not entirely sure we're going to get the display that we're hoping for. But we'll see.
We didn't see the Flaming Cliffs as Flaming Cliffs, just cliffs, because there wasn't a sun. But it did mean Gwyn could go shopping. Hey, I thought you said you didn't like camels. The sunset wasn't great, but at least we got some shopping done, haven't we? Yes, we have, my darling. Petrified wood. Amethyst crystal. It's morning and the wind has come up icy. And I thought to myself, what would it be like touring Mongolia in winter? And if I came back, and I will come back, should I come in winter? Oh, right. Sorry, I was just thinking about how in such a short time, within 1 month, all these camps are closed, and this is white, and it stays white until as late as May. So the window for tourism and things like that is very, very short. However, Miles Overland do actually offer winter tours. They haven't yet been able to explain to me exactly what they're all about. Maybe I should next time, because there will be a next time. It's that good. I'll do a winter tour. That was what I was thinking about.
It's really beautiful. I feel like a hobbit. It's like a hobbit house. In fact, all these gurs feel like hobbit houses. There's another reason why camping, in the way we understand it, wouldn't be much fun. That there's no firewood. In fact, Andrew and I have had a bit of a joke going. The first person to see a tree wins a lollipop kind of thing.
You owe me a lollipop. There's some trees just behind here. Small ones. Sorry, I beat you.
We've travelled almost 2,000 kilometres.
No trees.
No trees.
Not a single
Not a tree. So you would have to make your fire using dung, which is what the locals do.
Or carry gas.
Or carry gas.
But you wouldn't have a campfire.
You wouldn't have a campfire. So camping without a campfire is just sitting outside in the dark. I mean, that's really...
In the dark and the cold and the wind.
Yeah. So the gurs are really, really nice.
And this is made from timber obviously brought in, but the fabric is locally woven wool, sheep's wool. All of it is locally woven. So it's wonderful how authentic.
How weatherproof they are.
And these are warm inside. Warm. There's a bit of wind out. Bitter. It's a cold wind outside. It's toasty in here. And you cannot hear the wind. Utterly silent. And the roof, the light from the roof, it's brilliant. You don't need to turn on electric lights. You have lights, a light from the top coming down.
It's wonderful.
Should I mention her hair? Should I? Okay, I won't.
Did we mention that we're in Gobi? They don't call it the Gobi, they call it Gobi. We're in Gobi, and Gobi is dry. The atmosphere is so dry. It's cloudy and it looks like it's going to rain today, but don't let that fool you. It is so dry. First thing Andrew said to me this morning when he woke up, he says, "It's so dry, pass me a tissue." It's exactly how it feels. It's like Namibia. Desert, desert, desert. That's my contribution for the day. I'll be in my caravan for the rest of the day. Is this a well?
Not far from our overnight camp is the Ongi Monastery. Built in the 18th century, consisted of 17 temples, amongst them the largest temples in all of Mongolia. The ground housed 4 Buddhist universities. Founded in 1660, it was one of the largest monasteries in Mongolia and housed over 1,000 monks at its height. The monastery was completely destroyed in 1939 during anti-religious purges carried out by Kholurgin Choisebalsan, the leader of the Communist Party of Mongolia. Over 200 monks were killed and many survivors were forcibly conscripted into the communist-controlled army. In 1990, it was decided to rebuild the monastery.
Nowadays, some family still using this kind of thing to keep the warm, but we modern families now.
Yeah.
And
one
you need
for water.
Yes, for water.
And that one also
Tea or milk. Бид зураг бичлэг хийж явж байгаа. Гол зорилго нь баялангаа ажил.
After a couple more hours of driving over these endless grassy plains, our nomad family encampment appears.
Okay, finally we have arrived to our nomadic family.
Our idea is to camp with the rooftop tents tonight. The idea behind visiting a nomadic family is to get insight into how they live. Also, Gwyn is not feeling well. It could have been something that she has eaten. Nevertheless, meals are placed in front of us, consisting mainly of mutton and various dairy products that she makes herself, and trades with some of the local camps.
They are selling, preparing all the products from the milk, and then they are selling to the people who are living in town or who are living in Ulaanbaatar city.
okay.
Thank you, I'm fine.
Okay. Таньдаг болсон уу?
Өгнөх талах юм шүү. Гүг уухгүй л сулсан. Хүүтэн болоод уу?
This is home distilled vodka.
Makes with milk.
No alcohol.
When it is revealed that Gwyn is feeling a little off colour, our host offers a treatment. Her qualification? She's a grandma.
Одоо энэ явахын дээр даа. Энд чинь ингэж авах хэрэгтэй байхгүй юу? Ингэж авах хэрэгтэй чинь чи ялахгүй жаа ийм хөрөөтэй.
Тэгэхээр толгой хөдөлсөн үү?
Тэгэхээр
Please lay down for a few minutes.
While Gwyn gets her treatment, time for some traditional Mongolian fresh air.
I'm actually quite worried about Andrew, especially with all these blasted camels around, that he'll start smoking again. I mean, he stopped, it's more than 30 years ago, but Moogie doesn't help. He keeps stopping to go and buy cigarettes.
Oh, cigarettes are strong. But not lighted. We have decided that because Gwyn is feeling a little off colour today and a gale force has come up and it's about 3 degrees, that we are not going to camp tonight and we're going to head off to our last Gur camp, which is a couple of hours drive from this very, very lonely place. Our final night will be spent at the Kharon city, the secret of the Silk Road. An interesting mix of modern and traditional. The Erdene Zoo monastery is probably the earliest surviving Buddhist monastery in Mongolia. Located about 2 kilometers from Khakorin, adjacent to the city of Karakorum. Constructed in 1585 as a declaration of Tibetan Buddhism as the state religion in Mongolia. After the fall of communism in Mongolia in 1990, the monastery was turned over to the lamas, and Erdene Zoo again became a place of worship, and today remains an active Buddhist monastery as well as a museum open to tourists. On our way back to Ulaanbaatar, it's an easy 5-hour drive on asphalt, where we conclude this wonderful experience. I personally would like to say thank you to Miles Overland for making contact and suggesting we do one of their trips. It is obvious to me that they are passionate about their country and they love to show it off. They know it well. Their vehicles are well prepared and they are professional in everything they do. And so we conclude our trip with this. Thank you so much for watching. To conclude our wonderful trip to this new part of the world for Gwyn and I, we're spending the day doing street photography in Hong Kong.